My beloved child, I am coming to you in this quiet, sacred moment because I want to ask you a question that has been buried beneath the layers of your protection and your weary defenses. Have you stopped expecting good news simply because the pain of disappointment has become too heavy a burden for your heart to carry anymore? I know that lately, you have found a strange kind of safety in assuming the worst, because if you expect nothing, you believe that you cannot be hurt when nothing arrives. You have built a fortress around your emotions, not out of rebellion, but out of a desperate need to survive the constant waves of letdowns that have crashed against your shore. I see you crouching behind those walls, waiting for the other shoe to drop, and I want to gently whisper that it is safe to come out now. I see the subtle flinch in your spirit whenever someone mentions the word hope, as if it were a dangerous weapon that has wounded you too many times in the past. You have trained yourself to numb your reactions, to keep your face steady and your heart flat, so that no one can see the turmoil of longing that still lives deep inside you. You have told yourself that it is better to be pleasantly surprised than to be devastated again. So you walk through your days with a shield of cynicism that feels heavy on your shoulders. I want you to know that I understand why you built that shield, and I do not judge you for needing it, but I also want you to know that you were not made to live behind it forever. There is a quiet exhaustion that comes from constantly bracing for impact, a fatigue that seeps into your bones when you are always preparing for things to go wrong. You have carried this weight for so long that you may not even realize how much energy it takes just to maintain this posture of defense, keeping your guard up against the possibility of joy. You watch others celebrate their breakthroughs and you offer a polite smile, but inside, a voice whispers that such things are not meant for you, that your story is written in a different, darker ink. I am here to tell you that this voice is a liar, and that the story I am writing for you is far from over. In fact, the best chapters are yet to be revealed. I know that you have felt overlooked and forgotten, as if your prayers are hitting a glass ceiling and bouncing back down to the floor, unanswered and unheard. You have cried tears that no one else saw, in the shower or on your drive to work, wondering if your life will ever be anything more than a series of struggles and near misses. The silence has felt deafening at times, and in that silence, you have made agreements with despair, telling yourself that this is just how it is always going to be. But my love for you breaks through that silence today, reaching past your logic and your past experiences to touch the tender, bruised places of your heart that still desperately want to believe. You have been walking through a valley where the shadows seem to stretch on forever, and in the darkness, you have lost sight of the horizon that used to call your name. It feels safer to look down at your feet, to focus only on the next step, rather than looking up and risking the pain of seeing a sky that offers no rain. But I am lifting your chin today, gently and lovingly, asking you to look into my eyes so that you can see the reflection of a future that is bright with promise. You are not defined by the darkness you have walked through. You are defined by the light that I have placed within you, a light that no darkness can ever extinguish. My child, I know that you have felt like a spectator in your own life, watching opportunities pass you by, while you remain stuck in the same cycle of waiting and wanting. You have asked why me, and how long, until the words lost their meaning, and now you have settled into a quiet resignation that you mistake for peace. But true peace is not the absence of hope. It is the presence of trust, and I want to restore your trust in my goodness, not because circumstances are perfect, but because I am faithful. I am here to dismantle the lies that have convinced you that your season of joy has passed, and to plant a fresh seed of expectation in the garden of your soul. I want you to look at the signs that prove your faith is not dead, but merely sleeping, waiting for the warm touch of my grace to wake it up again. You still pray, even if those prayers have become brief whispers in the middle of the night. Help me, or please, or simply, I'm tired. Those short, desperate sentences are not signs of a weak faith. They are the sparks of a fire that refuses to go out, evidence that you still know where your help comes from. You may feel like you have let go of me, but those whispers prove that your spirit is still holding on, even by a thread, and a thread is all I need to weave a miracle. Another sign that your heart is still alive is that you still imagine change, even if you do it in the deepest secrecy where no one else can see. In the quiet moments before you fall asleep, you allow yourself to picture a life where you are free, where you are loved, where you are provided for, and though you quickly push those images away, they were there. That imagination is a gift from me, a holy sanctum where I show you the blueprints of what I am building, even when your current reality looks nothing like it. You hide these dreams because you fear they are foolish, but I tell you they are prophecies of the good plans I have for you. I see how you are drawn to gentle hope rather than the loud, aggressive hype that the world tries to sell you, because your soul craves something authentic. You don't want empty promises or slogans. You want a reassurance that feels like a warm blanket on a cold night, something that acknowledges your pain while offering a cure. This attraction to the quiet and the real is a sign of your spiritual maturity, for you have learned that the loudest voices often have the least to say. You are seeking the still small voice that Elijah heard, and that is exactly the frequency on which I am speaking to you right now, whispering life back into your weary bones. You have noticed that despite everything, you still have a capacity to love and to care for others, even when your own tank feels completely empty. You offer kindness to strangers, you listen to the problems of your friends, and you give from your lack, which is the most beautiful offering of all. This tenderness that remains in you is proof that the bitterness has not won, that the hardness of life has not been able to turn your heart into stone. I am guarding that softness within you because it is the fertile soil where the seeds of your new beginning will take root and grow. Even now, as you listen to these words, there is a tiny flutter in your chest, a resonance that feels like a familiar song you haven't heard in years. That is your spirit recognizing my truth, responding to the call of your Creator, who knows exactly what you need to hear. You may try to analyze it away or doubt it, but you cannot deny the feeling of being known and understood that is washing over you. This connection is the lifeline that will pull you out of the pit of despair and back onto the solid ground of faith. You have a resilience that surprises even you, a strength that has kept you standing when everything in your life was trying to knock you down. You look back at what you have survived and you wonder how you made it. But I want you to know that it was my hand sustaining you every step of the way. You are stronger than you think, and the very fact that you are still here, still listening, still seeking, is the greatest sign that your purpose is not finished. The enemy tried to break you, but he only succeeded in revealing the steel in your spine and the gold in your heart. I see the way you look for beauty in the small things, a sunset, a flower growing through the concrete, a child's laughter, because your soul is starving for evidence of goodness. These moments are not accidents. They are love notes I have placed in your path to remind you that beauty still exists and that it is meant for you. You have not lost your taste for the divine. You have simply lost your confidence that you are invited to the feast. Let these small glimpses of beauty be the breadcrumbs that lead you back to the table I have prepared for you. You still feel a righteous anger when you see injustice or suffering, And that passion is a reflection of my own heart beating within your chest. A dead heart does not care. A numb spirit does not feel indignation. So your emotional response is a vital sign of spiritual life. You may feel like you are just going through the motions, but deep down, you still care about what is right and true. And that alignment with my character is a powerful foundation. You are not too far gone. You are simply tired of fighting a battle that feels endless, but the reinforcements are arriving. Finally, the fact that you are hesitant to believe this message is actually a sign that you value the truth too much to accept a counterfeit. You are cautious because you treat your heart like the treasure it is, and you do not want to cast your pearls before swine or your hope on a fantasy. I honor that caution, and I am not asking you to blindly leap. I am asking you to take one small step toward me. Your discernment has been sharpened by your struggles, and it will serve you well as we walk into this new season together. Let us speak honestly about the struggles that have been weighing you down, specifically the numbness that you have used as a form of emotional self-protection. You have wrapped your heart in gauze, dulling the sharp edges of both pain and joy, because feeling deeply has become too risky. You move through your days in a fog, doing what needs to be done but feeling detached from the outcome, like an actor playing a role in a play you didn't write. This numbness has kept you functioning, but it has also kept you from truly living. And I want to gently peel back the layers so you can feel the warmth of the sun again. You have battled a deep-seated cynicism that whispers, "It never works out," every time a glimmer of possibility appears on the horizon. This phrase has become a mantra of defeat, a script that you recite to lower your expectations so that you won't look foolish for believing. You remember every time you tried and failed, every time you knocked and the door stayed shut, and you use those memories as evidence to prosecute your own hope. But I want you to know that your past is a reference point, not a residence, and what happened before is not a prophecy of what will happen next. There is a paralyzing fear of getting your hopes up again, a terror that feels almost physical, tightening your chest and making it hard to breathe. You equate hope with danger, believing that the higher you fly, the further you will fall, and the crash is something you aren't sure you can survive one more time. So you ground yourself, clipping your own wings to stay safe on the earth, looking up at the sky with a mixture of longing and dread. I am here to catch you, my child. Hope in me is not a trap door, but a ladder that leads to a higher perspective. You have retreated into self-isolation, pulling away from community and connection, because you want to avoid the messiness of being let down by people. It is easier to be alone than to be misunderstood, easier to stay silent than to explain your pain to those who offer shallow platitudes. You have convinced yourself that you are better off on your own island, but in that isolation, the echo of your own doubts becomes deafening. I created you for connection, and while people may have failed you, I never will. I want to gently lead you back into safe fellowship where you can be healed. You find it incredibly difficult to celebrate small wins, brushing them off as insignificant or fearing that if you acknowledge them, they will be taken away. When something good happens, you hold your breath, waiting for the penalty, waiting for the catch, unable to simply receive the blessing with an open hand. You minimize your victories because you don't want to look arrogant or naive. But this refusal to celebrate starves your soul of the gratitude that fuels faith. I want you to learn to dance in the rain again, to savor the small drops of honey even before the jar is full. The struggle with envy has crept in, unwanted and uninvited, as you scroll through the highlight reels of others and wonder why their path seems so smooth while yours is covered in thorns. You feel a pang of guilt for these feelings, but the question burns. When will it be my turn? You see the seasons of reward for everyone else, and you feel like you are perpetually in the season of sowing, never reaping. I see this struggle, and I do not condemn you for it. I want to heal the wound of comparison that makes you feel less than. You wrestle with a sense of identity crisis, wondering if you are truly who you thought you were, or if the trials have stripped away your purpose. You used to be the optimistic one, the dreamer, the one who encouraged others, and now you don't recognize the tired face in the mirror. You feel like a shadow of your former self, diluted by disappointment, and you grieve the loss of your spark. But I tell you that I am pruning you, not destroying you. The new growth that will come from this season will be richer and more abundant than anything you lost. There is a constant mental loop of what if scenarios that plays in your mind, always catastrophic, always predicting the worst possible outcome for every situation. This anxiety drains your creative energy, leaving you with nothing left to invest in your actual life, because you have spent it all solving imaginary disasters. You are living in a future that hasn't happened yet, a future painted by fear, instead of living in the present where my grace is available. I want to silence that projector and bring your focus back to the here and now, where I am holding your hand. You struggle with feeling unheard, even by me, as if your prayers are just words dissolving into the atmosphere with no power to change reality. You have prayed the same prayer 1,000 times, and the lack of visible movement has made you question if I am even listening, or if I even care. This doubt is a heavy burden, for if you cannot trust the listener, you cannot find relief in the speaking. I assure you, my child, every word has been caught, every tear collected, and the answer is being prepared in the unseen realm. You have developed a habit of withholding your true self from the world, presenting a carefully curated version that is acceptable and low maintenance. You don't want to be a burden, so you say, "I'm fine," when you are breaking inside, denying others the chance to love you in your weakness. This performance is exhausting, and it reinforces the lie that you are only lovable when you are strong and put together. I love you in your mess, in your brokenness, in your raw and unpolished state, and I want you to feel the freedom of being authentic. The struggle of regret haunts you, whispering that maybe you made a wrong turn years ago that permanently derailed your destiny. You look back and analyze every decision, every mistake, blaming yourself for where you are, and believing that you have disqualified yourself from the blessing. You think you have wasted too much time to ever catch up, that the window of opportunity has slammed shut and locked. But I am the Redeemer of time, the God of the U-turn, and I can restore the years the locusts have eaten in a single season of favor. You feel a deep spiritual dryness, going through the motions of faith, but feeling like you are drinking sand instead of living water. The worship songs that used to move you to tears now feel flat, and the scriptures feel like just words on a page, void of power. You worry that you have lost your connection, that the flame has gone out for good. But this dryness is not death. It is a thirst that is driving you to dig deeper wells. I am leading you to a fresh spring that flows from a deeper source, one that is not dependent on your emotions. You struggle with the feeling of being left behind, as if the world is moving forward at a rapid pace and you are anchored in the past. You see technology, culture, and friends evolving, and you feel stuck in a time capsule of your own pain, unable to sync up with the rhythm of life. This creates a panic that you will never catch up, that you will die with your song unsung and your potential untapped. My timing is not the world's timing. I am never late, and when I move you forward, it will be with a supernatural acceleration that defies logic. There is a struggle with trust issues that extends beyond people to me, causing you to hesitate when I ask you to move or to give. You hold tightly to what you have because you are afraid that if you let go, nothing will come to replace it, operating out of a spirit of scarcity. You protect your heart, your money, your time, because you feel like you are the only one looking out for you. I want to show you that I am your provider and your protector, and that you are safe to release your grip and live with open hands. You battle with a persistent low-level sadness, a grief for the life you thought you would have by now that hasn't materialized. It isn't always a sharp pain. Sometimes it is just a dull ache that sits in the background of your joy, reminding you of what is missing. You mourn the empty chair, the missing ring, the unfulfilled career, and you wonder if you will ever be truly whole. I am the God who comforts those who mourn, and I am turning your mourning into dancing, replacing the spirit of heaviness with a garment of praise. You struggle with decision fatigue, terrified of making another wrong choice, so you freeze and make no choice at all. You overanalyze every option until you are paralyzed, waiting for a sign written in the sky before you will take a step. You are afraid that one wrong move will ruin everything, forgetting that my grace is big enough to cover your missteps. I am calling you to trust your gut, which is where my spirit dwells, and to step out with the confidence that I can steer a moving ship. You have a hard time accepting help, feeling that you must be the strong one, the one who carries the load for everyone else. You view needing support as a weakness, a crack in your armor, so you reject the hands that reach out to assist you. This pride masquerading as strength is crushing you, for you were never meant to carry the world on your shoulders. I am sending people to be Simon of Cyrene to you, to help you carry your cross, and your job is simply to let them. Finally, you struggle with the fear that this message is for someone else, that you are the exception to the rule of God's goodness. You read the promises and think, that's beautiful for them, but you disqualify yourself before the Amen is even spoken. You think your case is too hard, your darkness too deep, your mistakes too great for the light to penetrate. But I am speaking directly to you, looking you in the eye, and telling you that you are exactly the one I came to rescue. Now receive this revelation. Hope can be wise. It does not have to be naive or foolish to believe that things can get better. The world tells you that cynicism is intellectual, and that hope is for the simple-minded. But I tell you that hope is the most courageous and intelligent choice you can make. It takes no strength to give up, no wisdom to assume the worst, but it takes divine insight to see the invisible potential in a broken situation. True hope is not ignoring reality. It is acknowledging reality while acknowledging a higher truth that has the power to override it. You need to understand that I restore expectation slowly, like the dawn breaking over the horizon, not like a sudden blinding flash of lightning. If I brought the sun up all at once, it would blind you. Instead, the light increases incrementally, allowing your eyes to adjust and your world to warm up. You are in the pre-dawn hours right now, where the sky is shifting from black to gray to purple, and though you cannot see the sun yet, the changing light is proof that it is coming. Do not despise the slow process, for it is gentle kindness to your recovering heart. Understand that tomorrow is not sentenced to repeat yesterday. The past does not have the legal right to dictate your future unless you give it that power. Just because you failed before does not mean you will fail again. Just because they left does not mean everyone will leave. Just because it hurt does not mean it will always hurt. I make all things new, and new means completely unprecedented, not a recycled version of your old pain. I am breaking the cycles that have held you captive and setting your feet on a path that leads to a destination you have never seen. The pain you have endured was not a punishment, but a refining fire that has burned away the impurities of reliance on the world. You have been stripped of the shallow things so that you can be filled with the weighty things of my kingdom. This hollowness you feel is not emptiness. It is capacity, a widened vessel carved out by suffering to hold a greater pouring of my spirit. You are not broken. You are an open container ready to be filled with a joy that is deeper and more sustainable than any cheap happiness. Realize that your sensitivity is a superpower, not a defect. Your ability to feel deeply allows you to experience my love in ways that others miss. The enemy wants you to numb yourself because he knows that a feeling heart is a dangerous weapon against his kingdom of apathy. When you feel, you pray. When you feel, you move. When you feel, you love, and that is why he tries to shut you down. Reclaim your emotions as a gift, for they are the instruments through which you will play the symphony of your life. The delay you have experienced was not a denial, but a time of preparation, ensuring that your character could sustain your calling. If I had given you the blessing when you first asked, it might have crushed you or stolen your heart away from me. I love you too much to give you a gift that would destroy you, so I withheld it until your shoulders were broad enough to carry the weight of glory. You are ready now in ways you weren't ready then, and the timing of the release will be perfect. Know that I am working in the invisible realm, moving pieces on the chessboard of your life that you cannot see or comprehend. Just because you don't see the evidence yet doesn't mean the verdict hasn't been rendered in your favor. Roots grow deep into the dark earth long before the shoot breaks the surface, and your miracle is currently in the root phase. Trust the work of the underground, for it is the foundation of the fruit that is coming. Your story is being written to help others. The very things you are ashamed of will become your greatest ministry to the broken. I am the God who recycles pain into power, who takes the ashes of your life and turns them into beauty. You will one day look a struggling soul in the eye and say, I know exactly how you feel, and I know the way out. And your words will carry the weight of authority because you have lived them. You are going through this not just for you, but for the crowd of witnesses who need to see that God is faithful. Hope is a muscle that must be exercised, and right now yours is atrophied, but it can be rebuilt through small, repetitive motions. You don't start by lifting the heaviest weight. You start by lifting your eyes, lifting your head, lifting a small prayer. Every time you choose to believe instead of despair, you are strengthening your spirit, building the stamina you need for the journey ahead. I am the personal trainer of your faith, spotting you when the weight gets too heavy, but encouraging you to push through the resistance. You are entering a season of restoration, where I will return to you what the enemy stole, but I will add interest to it. The years of sorrow will be balanced by years of gladness, for I keep perfect accounts, and I am a God of justice. The joy that is coming will be sweeter because you have tasted the bitterness. The light will be brighter because you have walked in the dark. Your capacity for gratitude has been expanded by your lack, and you will savor the feast like no one else. The fear that grips you is a smoke screen, an illusion created to keep you from walking through the open door of opportunity. Fear shouts but faith whispers. Fear demands but love invites. I am inviting you to step through the smoke, to realize that it has no substance and cannot harm you. On the other side of your fear lies the freedom you have been craving, and I am walking with you every step of the way. You are not a victim of your circumstances. You are a victor in training, learning how to overcome by the blood of the Lamb and the word of your testimony. Your identity is not the one who struggled, but the one who overcame, and I am placing a crown of victory on your head. Wear it with humility but also with confidence, knowing that you did not earn it, but you inherited it through my Son. You are royalty, and it is time you started walking with your head held high. I am realigning your definition of success, moving it from external validation to internal peace and obedience. The world chases applause, but you are learning to chase my presence, and that is the only success that lasts. When you are content in me, you become unbreakable, for the world cannot take away what it did not give. This shift in perspective is the true breakthrough, for it liberates you from the tyranny of other people's opinions. The numbness is melting away, and as the feeling returns, it may sting like blood returning to a limb that has been asleep. Do not be afraid of the tingling, of the tears, of the sudden rushes of emotion. This is the thawing of your winter. Spring is messy, with mud and rain and melting snow, but it is the precursor to life and bloom. Embrace the thaw, for it means your heart is coming back online. I am the God of the resurrection, and there is nothing in your life that is too dead for me to bring back to life. Your dreams, your relationships, your finances, your health, all of it is subject to my life-giving power. Stop looking at the tomb and start looking for the gardener. Stop focusing on the stone and start watching for the angel. Resurrection is my specialty, and I am about to perform it in your life. So I encourage you, my beloved, to try hope again. Start small, start honest, but just start. You don't have to believe for the mountain to move today. Just believe that I am capable of moving it. Let your hope be the size of a mustard seed, for that is all the currency you need to transact in my kingdom. Unclench your fists, take a deep breath and whisper, I believe, help my unbelief. Speak one life-giving sentence over your tomorrow right now, instead of predicting doom and gloom. Say something good could happen to me, or God is working on my behalf, or simply, I am loved. These words are like rudders steering the ship of your life. Turn the wheel toward life. Your tongue has the power of life and death, so choose to speak life over your future, even if your voice shakes. Do one action today that supports hope, one physical thing that proves you believe a future exists. Get a full night's sleep because you trust me to watch over the world while you rest. Make a plan for next week because you expect to be here. Reach out to a friend because you believe in connection. These small acts of defiance against despair are powerful prayers in motion. Wash the dishes, make the bed, water the plant. Tell your despair that you are still in the game. Stop replaying the highlight reel of your failures and start creating a trailer for your comeback. Visualize yourself walking in freedom, smiling without fear, loving without reservation. What you behold, you become. So fill your mind with images of my promises fulfilled. See yourself as I see you, whole, healed, radiant, and deeply cherished. Be gentle with yourself as you heal. Do not berate yourself for having bad days or for stumbling along the path. Recovery is not a straight line. It is a spiral that moves upward, and even if you feel like you are circling the same spot, you are at a higher level than before. Treat yourself with the same compassion you would show a wounded child. I am patient with you. Be patient with yourself. Look for the helpers I have placed in your life, the people who carry my light in their eyes and my love in their hands. You are not meant to do this alone, and I have surrounded you with a cloud of witnesses, both in heaven and on earth. Open your heart to receive love again, risking the hurt for the sake of the healing. Love is the only force powerful enough to dismantle the walls you built. Remember that faith is not a feeling. It is a choice you make every single day, sometimes every single hour. You may not feel hopeful, but you can choose to act in hope. You may not feel brave, but you can choose to take a step. I honor the choice, not the emotion, and I will meet your obedience with my power. Fake it until you make it is not the kingdom way. Rather, it is faith it until you feel it. I am breathing a fresh wind into your sails, filling you with a supernatural strength to face whatever lies ahead. You will run and not grow weary. You will walk and not faint, because the joy of the Lord is your strength. Receive this infusion of grace right now. Inhale my peace and exhale your worry. You are being recharged by the power of the Holy Spirit. Your best days are not behind you. They are waiting for you just around the bend in the road. The enemy wants you to live in the museum of your past, but I am calling you into the studio of your future. I have new songs for you to sing, new assignments for you to complete, and new people for you to love. The adventure is just beginning. I invite you to stay connected to this source of encouragement, to keep drinking from the well that refreshes your soul. If these words have touched your heart, I invite you to subscribe to this channel, not as a command, but as a way to keep the door open for more of my whispers. I have so much more to share with you, so many more truths to reveal, and I want to walk this journey with you day by day. Stay close, stay listening, stay hopeful. As you go about your week, carry this truth in your pocket like a precious stone. I am for you, I am with you, and I am working all things together for your good. Let that knowledge be the solid rock on which you stand when the winds of doubt blow. You are safe in my hands, and nothing can pluck you out. Go now in peace, my child, with your head lifted and your heart open to the possibility of a better tomorrow. The night is over, the dawn is breaking, and your season of singing has come. Trust me, hold on to me, and watch what I will do. I love you with an everlasting love.